As we remember, after the big win at Margaret River, he was #2 in the world for the first time in his career. And I'm almost starting to forget that he's still a wild card this season, Potts.
Just gives him that really solid foundation and that ability just to really rip into these perfect right-handers. First wave approaching the lineup, and here we go.
Sebastian Zietz rolls in, representing the island of Kauai, jamming the first turn. Running through the inside corner. Big power gouge on the open face. Nice foam climb. Sebastian Zietz really fired up first thing in the morning, and he still has some room to move. Another vertical hack on the inside corner. Welcome to another big day at Lower Trestles. That wave looks so fun, Potts.
Aerial maneuvers on the left-hander. You know, obviously with that speed factor. Let's have a look at Seabass's opening wave. Beautiful, clean, silky smooth conditions here this morning, and Sebastian Zietz, you can see him just pumping that board, getting that foot right in the sweet spot, and really does go to town on this. So this is going to be the benchmark for the rest of the heat. The judges will lock in a score, and this will be what they will compare every other wave to. So Sebastian Zietz draws first blood, and as I said before, what a day to be a pro surf. I mean, look at the conditions, absolutely beautiful right now. And I like the fact that Seabass didn't really try and overcook this wave, just really did what he needed to.
Rolling in now, the Tahitian Michel Bourez looking for a big first turn. Heavy bottom turn, layback hack to start. Driving into the next section, holds the rail for a full carve. High line, body torque wrap. He's mixing it up well. Another power gouge from the man known as the Spartan, and he'll finish to answer to Sebastian Zietz. 40. An on-fire matchup. Now let's see if Alejo Muniz will get some motivation here and these scores come through.
Well, not surprised with the way Michel Bourez surfed that wave. Talk about those big open face turns. I love Bourez's ability to hold the rail through those turns and connect the dots. A great opening wave for him. Look, you can see a little bit bigger than Seabass's wave, so we might see this go a little higher score-wise. Right there, just jamming it into the face of the wave. Watch this turn here, Joe, as he holds the rail, then draws straight off the bottom. Just keeping that real smooth transition. And now he starts to open those shoulders and get some really big hacks on that inside section. So Michel Bourez, what a great opening ride for him.
So a great answer to Seabass. Michel Bourez, now 13th in the world. Seabass, Michel Bourez, picking waves that they could really showcase a variety of power hooks. Seabass, now 28 years of age, number 12 rank. Even though he's been sliding on the Jeep leaderboard, he's never had this high of a seed in his career on the top 34. Pete, now what's the real ideal tide to surf Lower Trestles, or does it depend on the swell as well?
Well, it opens up the playing field a bit. You know, you get that outer bank breaking on those bigger sets, as we see Alejo taking his first wave.
Muniz now setting up that forehand snap. He's getting down the line, big section to throw it up vertically. Driving off the bottom, little tail slide to recovery, and now we'll wind up for another clean off the top. Little open face carve, keeping that motion going with the tail high reverse. Driving his point back into the pocket with the carve, so multiple maneuvers. Alejo looking to finish, and he'll clean that one up well. 20 minutes, 55 seconds to go. Bourez had a 7.33. Zietz had an 8.0. So judges already have their comparisons. How'd Alejo look for you, Potts?
Yeah, he looked sharp. I mean, maybe a little bit of a mistake halfway through that wave where the board kind of drifted away from him, but managing to gather it back under his feet, real core strength really coming into play there. You can see a wider stance, Joe, so he's going to have that real solid base. Right there you can see just losing the fins. I don't think he was ready for that, but managing to recover nicely. And Alejo then goes on to tag this wave all the way through the inside. So I think this is going to be a good score for Alejo. It's going to keep him right in the mix. I think it's going to be right in between that 7.33 and that 8.0. So I think we're going to see a lot of close heats today, Joe. I think the conditions are indicative to big scores. I think we're going to see a lot of scores up into that excellent range. You can see Alejo just setting things up here. That first turn, just a check turn. Now he jams it. And this is where he lost the fins a little bit. But what that did create was a little bit more of a radical turn. As you can see, Alejo going to the air, that little air reverse, getting the fins out the back, grabs the rail for that extra point of contact with the board. spins it around nice and clean. So a good opener right there for Alejo. You know, nerves could have come into play there, Joe. He could have made a mistake, but not to be.
Usually start hearing whistles on the beach. All the fans start standing up. It's up to Zietz if he wants this thing. Remember, look for a split though as well. Michel holds back. It's all about number 12 in the world, Sebastian Zietz. Still anticipating a first move. A big hack off the top. Huge jam over a chunky whitewater section. Goes for a big climb, but he loses the handle. So Zietz losing the inside corner. Only good for a couple of turns. He'll get a little second score behind the 8.0, but he lost a lot of scoring potential.
You know what, that could have gone really high. I mean, those first couple of turns really were quite amazing from Sebastian Zietz. I love that rail grab sliding turn that he did. I think it was the second maneuver on the wave. Let's have a look here. Beautiful, solid set wave, just checking it out. Now he starts to double pump off the bottom, jams that boy right there, grabs the rail and just slides. And again, up and over the whitewater. This right here may be pushing a little bit too hard. You can see the fins out the back of the wave, which kind of lost that direction. So Seabass was on his way to another good score, but not to be. He's going to be in that 4-point range, Joe. Beautiful turn right there. Love that rail grab sliding maneuver. Just something different, really.
Always fun to see Zietz up and riding on a lowers wave because you never know what he's going to do.
Here you really are utilizing that entire judging system.
Michel Bourez deep, has a great position and only needs a 4.85 to take the lead. A big float to cover some ground. The Tahitian still searching. He's going to have another rooftop float and he'll slip off. So just like Zietz, they start off solid, falling on their backup waves. Now they're rolling for Alejo Muniz. Setup card. Alejo driving into the pocket. Deep off the bottom. Beautiful rail work for the Brazilian. Jams it in the pocket. And now carving through the inside corner. He's got some room to move. Alejo hacks it. May be able to finish through this inside corner. A late hit, but he got a lot of work done before that fall. Knowing that Seabass Michel went down, Muniz is in a solid position to take this lead right now, Potts.
Yeah, just a 5.65 required by Alejo Muniz. You know, Michel Bourez and Sebastian Zietz. I mean, you know, with the waves the way they are today, Joe, I think sometimes you're going to see guys kind of caught in between maneuvers. So much open space here to try and do whatever you want, so sometimes you're going to pick and choose the wrong turn. Alejo, beautiful jam turn in the pocket right there. Nice flow, keeps that board moving rail to rail. You can see after every turn he draws down to the bottom of the wave and then back up into the power source. Bit of a mistake here for Alejo as well. Really could have stamped his authority on this heat, but a 5.60, I think he's going to get that anyway. We will see a lead change. Michel Bourez, you can see he's kind of wondering, what can I do? Now he drives off the bottom. In the back of his mind, he's thinking floater, he's thinking turn, and then picked the wrong turn right there. Front foot slipped, and down he goes. So kind of got to clean that stuff up if you want to be winning hits.
Priority was relinquished. Next thing you know, Sebastian gets the interference for taking off on Michel after the heat was over. But that was one of the most high-performance heats we saw at the Zietz last season. It was a much different story last year, Potts. We're looking at Zietz trying to re-qualify. But obviously we started throwing away past results for Wilco because he's got a whole new look on this season. Meanwhile, the Tahitian lighting up a lowers left for us here. Second move, nice and powerful. He's got the lift ahead, jamming it again. Total control and just throwing it time and time again through the roof to get rid of a 2.3. Now needing a 5.47 for the lead change.
Yeah, Alejo took the lead with that last ride, 6.27. So a pair of sixes for Alejo. Seabass with the single highest score. You've still got to back that up. I think that Michel Bourez last wave is going to be a good score, Joe. You know, it's a lot shorter than the right-hander as we saw this morning on that little segment that you and Pete did on Trace. But let's have a look here. The power of Michel Bourez as he draws off the bottom and jams it in the pocket there. You can just see that whole body torque. He's putting every single thing into it. A little bit of a fin release there, so nice variety. Combination of turns and kicks it out. That must have felt good for Michel Bourez. And we said this morning we're going to see a healthy mix between both lefts and rights. which is going to score the highest.
As we think about Michel Bourez this season so far, you see his highest result, a quarterfinal result. When you go back to Bell's Beach, he's had some consistency. Those ninths mean it's the round before the quarters. And probably the toughest loss for Michel is just losing in round 2. Got the lead in the last heat of the opening round of competition. We got things started with Sebastian Zietz. 3 guys out, no one has priority. Sebastian found this gem underneath Alejo and Michel and turned it into an excellent score of an 8.0.
Yeah, just really good surfing, you know, technically sound. Michel Bourez right behind him on a little bit of a bigger wave, and I think the difference being Sebastian a little bit more active, a little bit more maneuvers, you know. Michel Bourez obviously drawing those turns out nice and beautiful. Maybe not as much pizzazz as Sebastian, but nonetheless a 7.33, second highest scoring wave of the heat. Finds himself in the lead. Alejo Muniz fighting back with a pair of 6s. This is a tight heat, Joe. I mean, Sebastian needing a 5.03, Alejo Muniz a 6.51, 4.5 to go, so what a great way to start the day.
Impressive to see Alejo so patient, stuck to his game plan, let a couple of waves come through that probably were hard to let go because he knew he needed something solid to throw the air game to answer back. He didn't answer to Michel and Sebastian on his opener with the best wave, but he got 2 solid scores, and for a moment Alejo was sitting in first place.
It's all about consistency, Joe. You've got to make sure you get 2 solid waves. I thought this might have gone a little higher for Michel Bourez, 5.70. Just some big turns. Look at that right there, just letting those fin slides, showing some variety, speed, power, and flow, and power being the operative word on that wave from Michel Bourez.
It's interesting seeing the form of Michel Bourez, watching his power from his forehand to his backhand. Oftentimes we talk about that body torque frontside wrap, but he's got the same body torque on his backhand. As during the recap, Michel got another left.
Yeah, this kind of looks like his home break, really. Papara, that little beach break in Tahiti, as Michel goes to the end, lands clean. Slides the fins around, though. That's not going to go into his top 2, though, Joe. 5.27. Let's have a look at the technique here. Connects with the lip, absolutely perfect. No grab, slides that front foot closer to the nose of the board, releases those fins and gets that sliding maneuver. Great technique right there from Michel Bourez, but just not enough to improve his situation.
Well, something that's so fun about that left is we don't see Michel Bourez go to the air that often. To avoid the second round, this is the last heat non-elimination for the opening round before we start knocking guys out of the contest coming up next. This happens a lot summertime, South Swell season at lower Trestles. We saw amazing sets to kick off this heat, but the inconsistencies there, and Zietz might not find an answer here.
Yeah, I think there were waves coming through. I think they were sitting a little bit too, a little further out, waiting for those big sets. So you really got to be careful, and I don't think this is going to be the last heat where we see an 8-point ride go down and someone lose. So got to be careful on that backup.
So Michel Bourez takes a clean win there all the way into round 3.